over to our minister, my minister, Reverend Mackay.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leeks. Well, as you begin a new season here in Basingstoke, I just want to reflect on what those words behind Councillor Leeks actually mean. What does it mean to be steadfast in service? Now, if you're newly elected and perhaps wondering how you're going to live up to that, I want to reassure you that the bunch of misfits who formed the early church were completely dysfunctional. For example, Jesus chose James and John, who were called the sons of thunder, not because they were good at forecasting the weather, but because they had anger issues. He chose Simon Peter, who was frequently wrong, but never in doubt. And I expect you know people like that, very irritating people. And he chose Andrew, who was perfect. You never hear anything bad about Andrew. Again, very irritating. And he chose Simon the terrorist, or Simon the zealot. Simon was one of the leaders of the gang. And he chose Thomas, who was going to doubt. And he chose Matthew, a tax collector who collaborated with the Romans and skimmed off the top. And I could go on. But Jesus chose the worst kind of gang. This wasn't the beautiful people. But this was a ragtag bunch of misfits with different personalities and different politics who managed to form an organisation that many of our laws today are based on. And an organisation that continues to change the course of world history. So how do they do it? Well, Jesus tells them, through service, they become servant leaders. Because it's only in that humility that they demonstrate their authority. And on the night before his death, he gives them one command. He tells them the secret of service. And it's simply this: love one another. Love one another, care for one another, look out for one another, prefer one another. It's a calling to serve each other and our community. And it's a different kind of class. Now, each of you here tonight are different with different priorities. And I'm going to suggest a level of good disagreement is actually healthy. It's going to knock the edges off you. And at times it will test your call to unite together for this community. But if you can keep love for each other and for our communities at the heart of that, everything you do and say in this place will be service. So let us pray. Loving Lord, you call us to love one another as you have loved us. Keep us steadfast in that service, to love one another and the communities in this borough. Help us to use the gifts you give us for the people that need us. Help us to see their need and reach out beyond ourselves, our institutions, to the very margins of society. May all we do in this place be in preparation to serve you more fully. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. Would you all be seated, please? Apologies for absence. I have Councillor Bound, Connor, Robinson and Johnson. Is there any more? Yes, Councillor.
Councillor Grant.
Councillor Durant and Councillor Watts.
Councillor
Durant and Councillor Watts, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Right. Minutes of the meeting held on the... Sorry?
Declarations of interest.
Oh, declarations of interest. Anybody? Yes, Councillor Watts. You look well on it.
As Councillor Watts has declared an interest in Hatch Warren Runners, I'm also a member of Hatch Warren Runners.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bean.
I should probably declare that I am also a second claim member of Hatch Warren Runners.
We've got a lot of healthy runners here. Okay, anybody else? Any other runners? I can declare I'm not. Minutes of the meeting held on the 23rd of March. I'm happy to move them.
I second it.
Seconded by the deputy. All in favour, please show. Agreed. Okay. Announcements. Can I welcome all new councillors and all councillors who are returning, and hope that you have an enjoyable time and manage to succeed in what you wish to do. But thank you. And I have one more announcement. I'm moving items 14 and 15 to the next on the agenda, item 4. And I think we have people from the Etchinswell, etc. So I think it's only fair that we should move it. Okay. Right, items 14 and 15.
One at a time. I need to take them one at a time.
Yes, we'll take them one at a time. Adoption of the updated Berkeley Neighbourhood Development Plan. Councillor Isaac.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and good luck to you during your time as Mayor. I'd like to congratulate Berkeley Parish Council in my ward of Edingar on being the first in the borough to update its neighbourhood plan. With the threat of unwanted speculative development about, it shows foresight to extend the protection of the existing plan for another 2 years, while also incorporating important modifications such as the new Berkeley Design Code. I hope that government proposals to extend the life of current neighbourhood plans from 2 to 5 years will be passed into legislation soon, so this protection will be available to more communities who I know value their neighbourhood plans and appreciate the hard work that goes into making them.
Thank you very much. Councillor Ganesh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I highly commend all the work done by the local community to review the Berkeley neighbourhood plan and congratulate them on being the first parish in the borough to update their plan. And I hope, and I'm sure council will continue work with the local community to shape the development of their area and neighbourhood in future. Thank you.
Councillor Isaac, are you proposing it?
Indeed I am, Mr. Mayor.
Who else wishes to? I know you seconded it, Councillor Ganesh. Okay. Councillor, yes, Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, I rise to congratulate the community of Berkeley for their hard work in delivering an update and a modification to their neighbourhood plan. This administration has made huge strides forward on neighbourhood planning, delivering a record number of neighbourhood plans across the length and breadth of this borough. But we could not do this without the enormous efforts of our parishes and our communities. Berkeley is a national exemplar in neighbourhood planning. To my knowledge, no parish anywhere in the country has delivered a modification update to their neighbourhood plan. Richard Carrow and his team on Berkeley Parish Council are to be congratulated for their sterling efforts. I'm pleased to have played my part in supporting Berkeley to reach this point. Our policy as an administration is to empower communities to decide where development should go, so we get the right homes in the right places. These neighbourhood plans help communities defend against unwanted and speculative development. Indeed, that protection may be absolutely vital if Paul Harvey, that house builder's friend, comes in as leader at the end of this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillors wish to speak? It's been moved and seconded, the proposal. Do you all agree? Thank you very much. And can you pass on our thanks to all those who took part in doing the neighbourhood plan, please? Etchinswell, Sidman Bishop's Green neighbourhood plan. Councillor Ganesh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, I highly commend all the hard work completed over the years by the Hitchinswell, Sidmouth and Bishop's Green community to develop this neighbourhood plan and for their hard work and getting this far. And I congratulate them on the referendum results, which was 87.82, held on 4th May. And this plan will be used alongside the local plan and the national planning policy guidance to determine the shaping up of their neighbourhood. And this is the 14th neighbourhood plan that, as an authority, we have managed to work with the communities and achieved. So I congratulate them and can't wait to celebrate them at the Mayor's Party soon. Thank you.
Are you proposing it? Right, Councillor Isaac.
Mr. Mayor, we've been very busy in Evingar with neighbourhood plans, so I'm delighted to speak in support of the adoption of this neighbourhood development plan, the 4th in Evingar. It completes a determined and vigorous journey by the steering group and its supporters, beginning only just over 2 years ago. Given the complexity of the technical planning issues and the need to ensure local community input and support for the emerging plan, that is no small feat. I congratulate the unpaid volunteers who reflect the strong sense of community in the parish. The vote on May 4th in the referendum with over 87% support is just reward for all their efforts. The adoption of this neighbourhood plan will be a landmark event in the long history of this beautiful rural community, which remarkably stretches 7 miles in length. It should also be a bulwark against further massive and inappropriate proposed speculative housing development threatening this community at this time. As the neighbourhood plan shows, it is, however, a community that is prepared to accept suitable new housing to meet its own needs for the future. Well done for all those who have worked so hard.
Councillor Carr. Are you going to second this, Councillor Carr, or not? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm pleased to second this neighbourhood plan. As ward member for Evingar, I rise to offer my sincere thanks and enormous congratulations to the community of Etchinswell, Sidmonton and Bishop's Green for delivering this neighbourhood plan. I know it's been a long and exhausting journey for Marion Dane and her colleagues on the Parish Council and on the steering group. The community in Etchinswell is plagued by unsustainable and unsuitable large housing proposals, particularly in Bishop's Green. I'm proud to have supported this neighbourhood plan, which will provide an additional layer of protection to help Etchinswell, Sidmonton and Bishop's Green resist unsustainable development, particularly that proposed at College Copse Field. This neighbourhood plan will be all the more essential if Paul Harvey, who consistently pushed for house building beyond local need, was last in office.
Yes, Councillor.
Thank you. I'd also welcome these neighbourhood plans. I think very important. I think what's amazing is when a community puts their differences aside and comes together for the better of their community. And obviously, there's lessons for all of us to learn in that. Thank you.
Anybody else, or are you all agreed? Thank you. And again, would you send our regards, thank them for doing this neighbourhood plan. Right, back to the agenda as item 5, notice of motions. Yes, Councillor Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I stand to move the motion on the agenda paper, notice of motion removal of leader.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
This is a straightforward motion before the council, and I move it so this evening. It's a straight choice for the authority to make.
Councillor Miller, what's the point of order?
The point of order, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much. On the update paper, we see we have 2 seconders. Paragraph 14.3 of the Constitution mentions a seconder singular. Could we please have an explanation of that?
I believe that it should be Councillor James and Councillor McCormick is not seconding it. Is that right, Councillor McCormick? Where are you? Yes? Right. Thank you very much. There was somebody else. Was that the same? That's not the same point of order then? No? Okay. Does a seconder wish to?
I second and reserve my right to speak. Thank you.
Very much. And I have at the moment Councillor McCormick, McTire and Isaacs and Bound. And then we'll go over to the other side for a...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure it will be of no surprise to members that I oppose this motion. However, if you'll entertain me for a few minutes, I'll try to explain why. I absolutely understand that opposition councillors want to give the Tories a bloody nose. I get that. However, I ask you to think of our residents. Residents are clear that they want to slow down.
Can I just stop you a minute? Councillor Gavin James, you're seconding it, aren't you? Thank you.
I ask you to think of our residents. Residents are clear that they want to slow down house building so that our local services and infrastructure can catch up. Councillor Harvey is not the individual to slow down house building. Councillor Harvey led the previous coalition administration who asked the Labour government of the day for the highest possible levels of house building, creating many of the problems we are left tackling today through our local plan process. Councillor Harvey put Basingstoke forward as a diamond for growth in the South East plan. And no matter how much Councillor Cubitt tries to shift the blame, Basingstoke has growth rates nearly double the national figures because Councillor Harvey wanted to pursue large-scale growth. And as councillors are all well aware of, our housing number requirements today are calculated using that population growth. We are stuck in a perpetual cycle where ill-informed actions taken in 2006 have a direct impact on what we all have to deal with. Let's not make it worse by giving the arsonist back their matches. We all have a council plan and a budget that was agreed by members of this council that gained cross-party support. That is the start of an approach to working together. We're not asking opposition councillors to get into bed with us, but by God, look at the bedfellows Councillor Harvey is asking you to keep. Labour councillors are being asked to support a party made up of those who walked away from your own values. I understand the concept of the prodigal son, but this is more a hostile takeover rather than a return to the fold. You're being asked to support a party whose councillors have accused your constituency Labour Party of being bad actors. Your parliamentary candidate as being unethical, parachuted in, and veiled accusations of misogyny thrown against him. Liberal Democrats are being asked to support an individual who ran attack campaigns against Councillor Gavin James some years previously.
Can you hold on a minute, please? I have a point of order from Councillor Cubitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just as a point of order, it is normal in this chamber for councillors to speak through the mayor and not to other councillors, and therefore I would like the councillor concerned to adhere to the norms of this chamber and to speak to you and not in an aggressive manner to other members of the chamber.
I certainly can, Mr. Mayor, and I'm certainly perturbed at the accusation of aggression. Certainly not coming from this end. However, let's start again. Liberal Democrats are being asked to support an individual who ran some appalling attack campaigns against Councillor Gavin James some years previously. I understand it's politics, and I'm sure we all appreciate there's a bit of rough and tumble to it. However, our residents deserve better than to be subject to the whims of simmering discontent. At the very least, I would have expected Councillor Harvey to have apologised for the quality of the photoshopping. Some remedial lessons required on your part, Paul. Now, I don't want this to start to seem like a personal attack on Councillor Harvey, because it's not. I actually find him very personable, but I do question his judgment. I remember after giving my maiden speech in council, he made a comment that I was the Donald Trump of Basingstoke politics. a negative connotation if there was ever one, in which I don't associate myself with. It is quite unfortunate then that he has welcomed into his little group the one Basingstoke councillor who has previous for cheerleading for the aforesaid US President. Even the Basingstoke Gazette called them out for their rampant tweeting in support of Donald Trump. However, as Councillor Cubitt said at the time, I suppose we are all entitled to freedom of speech, or freedom to tweet in her case. I'm going to finish now by asking my fellow councillors to think about what we are elected for. It is to do the best we can do for our residents. Look at that grouping of individuals and ask yourself if you can see them working together for the betterment of our residents. As much as I'd love to see Councillor Harvey trying to manage Councillors Cubitt and Howard Sorrell in the same group, I think I'd personally rather organise a choir of cats. The cats might actually harmonise occasionally. To steal a line from the Deputy Prime Minister, they're the Phil and Holly of Basingstoke politics. However, hopefully you do see my point. Our residents deserve a stable administration, absolutely one which takes consideration of all opinions, but that is not what Councillor Harvey offers. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bound.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. When considering this motion, I would like to suggest we should all consider the impact of it, not the politics of it. We should consider the pieces of work which were created by the ability and the importance of all of us listening and working on those wide views that we have in this chamber. The budget this February had more votes supporting it than any other in recent history. We've had unanimous votes to challenge the standard method calculating housing need, Mr Mayor, and many other important debates in our committees and informal meetings. We have started work with our local NHS partners to secure that future for our borough. We are working on reducing patient waiting times, improving health services, so we have worked on that focus to deliver, hopefully, an urgent treatment centre, a community diagnostic centre in our town. We are focused on doing everything in our power to deliver a brand new general hospital for Basingstoke and North Hampshire. Slowing down the number of houses being built because our infrastructure, including our health, needs to catch up with the eye-watering levels of growth. And our local authority neighbouring colleagues across the South East need to do much, much more to do their bit in delivering homes for their residents. We can no longer be solely responsible for solving the housing crisis. Starting the conversation with our residents now to ensure that we have their views and their support for a draft local plan. We need everyone to understand the constraints that we have with our wonderful area of outstanding natural beauty, water quality issues, and water availability. Our programme works hard to protect our environment. Designating the Loddon, Ellisfield and Candover valleys as highly valued landscapes is important. Our plan includes growing the number and size of nature recovery areas in every ward. Greening our borough's energy by creating a significant amount of our own renewable energy on brownfield sites. Converting buildings with large roofs to renewable energy power stations with solar panels. The studies have been done, the team is being recruited to help everybody apply for that funding and make it a reality. Increasing recycling rates is a key priority for this council plan, and we intend to start with the implementation of curbside food recycling ahead of any forced obligation, continuing our journey to encourage all of us as residents to do our bit towards sustainability. We must continue our work supporting those who are struggling with the cost of living and supporting those organisations that do vital work supporting those families, whilst tackling the health and life inequalities that many of our residents have always faced. We have a renaissance, yes, a renaissance for arts and culture based around our Basingstoke Festival in this borough and our anchor cultural organisations, with the new cultural compact only recently being quoted by a long-standing arts individual as the best opportunity we have ever had for arts in this borough. We can't forget the impressive improvement plans for the Aquadrome, the Leisure Park, the Town Centre, which have been given a resounding vote of support with the interest from Great Wolf Resorts.
In their view, when I asked them why Basingstoke, they said we can only think of positives, we can't think of a single negative. The same level of positiveness is true from the work focused on bringing a university campus, or hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe two
1 minute, Councillor.
university campus to Basingstoke. Much of this work is new and exciting, and we hope everyone in this chamber can get behind it. We can do all of this whilst balancing our books and retaining the lowest council tax in Hampshire. Don't delay that work, colleagues. We have a council plan. It's fully funded and budgeted. I respectfully and humbly ask you to reject this motion. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor, and I'm sorry I didn't use your full name.
I think you're still, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let us be clear what is going on tonight. The Basingstoke and Dean independents have gathered together a cabal of high-tax, left-wing activists, none of whom want the right to govern on their own. They hope to remove a Conservative administration which achieved by far more seats and more votes. No one voted for their grubby deal, delivered in a back room. It's time to call out the Basingstoke and Dean independents for what they are: hypocrites. Independent candidates fought the elections on a false prospectus. They lied to voters, selling themselves as cuddly community champions who would stand up against high house building. But they are Labour members by another name, completely committed to excessive house building in our villages. Worst of all, a Paul Harvey coalition would be totally in hoc to a high-tax, pro-house building Labour Party. His administration would be 100% in the pocket of Labour, and there's not a thing he could achieve without bending the knee. In Basingstoke and Dean, we see that voting independent lets in Labour. We see that Liberal lets in Labour. I fear for my villages. I fear what this Labour-led coalition of chaos would impose on our communities. When Harvey was last leader of this council, he instigated the Diamond for Growth, actively inviting excessive housing development far beyond our local needs, setting us on a trajectory that we have struggled to get away from. Our difficulties with the local plan, Mr. Mayor, derive entirely from his lies and his failure. The record shows that Paul Harvey is the house builder's friend, the handmaiden for unsustainable housing growth.
Councillor Carr, can you hold on a moment, please? Yes.
When is it being common practice to refer to fellow councillors by their surname without the prefix of councillor? It's discourteous and it's shameful. I think the member should be asked to apologise for being so rude. It's not 1970 either.
Carry on, Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I correct the record to say that
Hang on, we've got another point of order. Yes.
Yeah, I find it very offensive for a councillor in this chamber, Mr. Mayor, to accuse a fellow councillor of lying. And I think that's in breach of our code of conduct of respect to fellow councillors. I can read the relevant section in the Constitution.
Hang on a minute. I have been told it's not a point of order.
Well, in general conduct, a councillor must treat other councillors and members of the public with respect. And I'm afraid calling someone a liar is not respectful.
A point of order is a procedure. But what I will say is, would you please avoid you doing that in future?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very willing to tone down if that is the view of yourself. Now, let's be clear. I fear what this Labour-led coalition of chaos will do to Basingstoke. In Wales, where we see what happens when Labour has control, they hike taxes, they are anti-motorist, and they threaten to remove the single occupier discount on council tax that protects widows and young people in our communities. But there is a brighter way, there is a better way. It is to back this Conservative administration, which has a bright plan, a long-term plan for our communities. When the cost of living hit, Basingstoke Conservatives provided millions to our vulnerable residents through our cost of living fund. For young people, we have provided innovative own home loans. We have delivered more affordable housing than any other district council in Hampshire. We brought rough sleeping on our streets down to zero, and we have developed a plan to invest in and regenerate our emergency shelter at May Place House. All this while residents enjoy a tax freeze on their borough council tax this year and the lowest borough council tax in Hampshire. I have no hesitation in rejecting this motion, and I call on all councillors to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I've got Councillor Dillo and then Isaac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I must say it is good to be back in the council, Mr. Mayor, representing the ward where I live, Kempshot and Buckskin. But what isn't good is this opportunistic power grab by three minority groups that are separate groups for a reason. They are diametrically opposed politically. We have members of the BDI that left Labour because they couldn't agree politically. We have the Liberals that wanted to increase our portion of the council tax during this period where the cost of living is on everyone's minds. I'm concerned that this three-way chaotic rainbow coalition will affect due process, delaying key policies through infighting and indecision. And I'm concerned that getting LNR status for Old Down Woodland Park will be delayed. I'm concerned through this fragmented power grab that house building across the borough won't be slowed down, and our local infrastructure, GP services, dental surgeries will be further burdened from the decades of overbuilding that we've had to endure. And it is for these reasons I will be voting against the motion to remove our leader. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dillo. I understand it's your maiden speech. In a bid for fairness, after Councillor Isaac, I'm going to throw open the debate for the other sides to speak. And oh,
very nice of you.
I might regret that. Right, Councillor Isaac.
Mr. Mayor, I will be brief. I oppose this motion. Deciding on a council leader and cabinet is a big decision for all councillors tonight, with major consequences on how this council and its services to local people are run. As a newly re-elected councillor, I am proud of the record of achievement of this Conservative administration. I accept that tonight we must find a solution to there being no one party in overall control. But as a member of the group that remains by far the largest, I hope we can find a way forward to work with other councillors in the interests of the people of this borough who deserve effective and responsible government from this council. On the motion before us, my interest has for good reasons turned towards how Labour councillors will vote. As a Tory, I acknowledge respectfully that Labour is generally the alternative serious party to us. So I'm curious as to how Labour councillors will vote tonight. Are you really going to enter into a coalition or prop up a BDI Lib Dem administration? Are you really putting your party's fortunes in the hands of the Lib Dem comedy troupe and the BDI all sorts with their assortment of ex-Tories, including those who continue to be Conservative Party members? and an ex-Labour group leader and other Labour councillors who walked away from their party when it should have been able to count on their loyalty at a difficult time. It doesn't suggest that loyalty and trust will survive for long once the difficult decisions, and there will be difficult decisions, are required, does it? If you do back a coalition tonight, you will own that decision in the months ahead before this unsound vessel falls apart because of its inherent divisions and contradictions. Your candidate for MP, David Lawrence, says your decision is above his pay grade. Really? It won't be for long, Mr. Lawrence, once the chickens come home to roost and local people can see what voting Labour means at a borough level. No wonder it is reported that Councillor McCormack is struggling to understand why, newly elected by his residents, he has just been voted out as group leader. Is there perhaps a secret agenda? BDI support for Labour at the next general election? Mr. Mayor, as a Conservative, I fear the worst tonight, but will remain optimistic about this borough's future for the long term.
Thank you, Councillor. I've got Councillor Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start, can I congratulate you on becoming Mayor of such a wonderful borough? It's a place that I've grown up and subsequently raised my family in, and I'm proud to be able to represent the ward of Winklebury and Manydown here in this chamber, and I wish you the very, very best for the coming year. Growing up here across the borough has meant I have paid witness to many changes, from the building of the ice rink under the Tories in the late 80s to Festival Place being built under the last joint administration. Lately, though, it has become apparent that there is a clear lack of understanding around where or what Basingstoke needs or wants to be. It is almost like the ideas have dried up. After 17 years of Conservative administration, of which many on that side of the chamber have been a part, we have seen a steady decline away from the needs of our residents towards a position of making sure that the bank balance is healthy for a rainy day. Now, I'm not saying that it is a bad thing to have strong finances, but what is bad is to not use those finances to deliver great services across the board that enhance the quality of life for those we represent, both now and long into the future. Not only that, the residents want to see parity and transparency in the decision-making that takes place here. Take, for example, the decisions that have led to the demise of both the Camrose and the ice rink. People chose not to offer support because of them being private businesses, yet loans were given to support a private business fund the purchase of waste collection vehicles to service a contract that they had won, or the decision to purchase a hotel that doesn't directly benefit or affect residents' quality of life. Over many years, cuts to public services and institutions that people in our borough value have been enacted under the Conservative brand, and on the doorstep, I hear how frustrated residents are with a Conservative administration who fail to really listen to what they want. Something they also aren't happy with is how Basingstoke and Dean has become a developer's playground. While the waiting list for housing has grown under the Conservative administration, we have seen developers build houses for the market whenever and wherever they see fit due to a lack of a 5-year land supply. This won't help residents of our borough. Whilst many of the party opposite complain about historical decisions taken before they were in power, it's incumbent on me to ask them, where was their concern when it mattered most? They've had 17 years in administration, yet failed to protect and invest in new schools, in new doctors, surgeries, in the infrastructure that we so desperately need. Nor did they campaign or demand change in the law, up until they realised that the residents of Basingstoke and Dean were fed up with it. They've had the opportunity to do so, considering they are in control of national politics. I'd also like to state again, as I have done on recent social media posts, considering the National Conservative Party can't align on the subject of house building, it's wise not to throw stones in glass houses. And whilst this is all going on, Manydown still needs to be delivered, despite it being purchased when I was just a 13-year-old boy. Again, some people on the other side of the chamber want to blame a tangled web to unpick as being a blocker and asking to give them more time to sort it. But again, you've had 17 years to try and unpick it all. I'd also remind members that it wasn't this side of the chamber who tried to block Manydown from even being in the local plan many years ago, and then wasting public funds trying to fight a High Court judgment on the decision. Over 17 years, we have seen things fall apart under the Conservatives. We have seen multiple master plans for the top of town, but rather than seeing an improvement, we have seen a decline. We have seen master plans that aren't master plans, and we've seen the ideas dry up. I believe now, more than ever, we need to work together on a shared vision for the future, one that I hope will be open, transparent, and benefit those that we represent. It's a momentous occasion, and I look forward to working with the new Cabinet and a wider coalition to bring about a new dawn for our borough. This borough deserves better. It deserves a change, and I wholeheartedly support this motion. Thank you.
Right, I shall be closing the list now. I've got Councillor Rattigan, Goddison, Hussey and McCormick. Oh, Councillor Cubid, was yours an order or did you want to speak? Okay, thank you. Councillor Rattigan. Yes, Councillor Hussey. Yours was a point of order, was it? Okay. Councillor Rattigan, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe that the people have spoken, and in a democracy, it is the duty of all of us to listen. You might not like to hear this, but I will continue to play the ball of policy rather than the player making the point. I think that is for better discourse in this place, and I believe it is the right action in this civic year. I was delighted to see a truly green policy written into this motion. The recycling of Councillor Harvey as a leader was a brave move, shall we say. But it is our fault that we are here. The Conservative Party, both locally and nationally, have forgotten what values made us Conservatives. We need to return to be a party of ambition, focus again on self-reliance, providing a hand up, not a handout. We need to return to being the optimists in this country. We need to find a way of allowing every resident to have a stake in our society, whether that be a house of their own or a social rented home that is safe, mould-free, and without the endless calls of nuisance residents. It is unforgivable that the scandal that we have of over 4,000 people on our housing waiting list. For my part in that, I apologise. My leadership did not provide all of the things I had hoped for when I became leader. But my replacement said all things will change when he became leader. And he was right. We managed to lose a 12-seat majority, and I don't think that is particularly funny, because it has left this borough without clear direction on where to go. It is my point that we should all come together. I am glad that we weren't knocking around like some alcoholic looking for a drink when we were trying to find an alliance of people trying to prop up this administration. I think change is required. We as a Tory group need a period of reflection. We need to refocus, and like a tree that is pollarded and cut back, we will regrow stronger and better for our residents in the future. I will hand over, reluctantly, to that group beside you, whatever you make of it. But Paul, keep this in your mind. Keep your promises, for we will provide the scrutiny required to make sure that you do. But more than that, the judgment of the people of this borough will come in 11 months' time. And I promise you, if you fail like you failed before, you will be judged by them, and you will be out of power with only a short period of time as leader. I think it is important that we, who didn't win the majority of seats, take that moment to reflect what we could do better. I think we will be a better opposition for having had a period of time in administration. And
I genuinely believe that all of us should try our desperately hardest to do what is right for our residents, whether they be in a Liberal ward, a BDI ward, a Conservative ward. We are required to do what is right for the people of Basingstoke and Dean.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Coddison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have been told quite forcibly that we have a responsibility to look after the interests of our residents. I have spent quite a few weeks agonising about how I can best achieve that duty towards my residents. I've sadly recently come to the conclusion, the unfortunate and depressing conclusion, that in order to achieve that, I have to move over to this side of the chamber. And that's what I've done, and I will be supporting this motion. Thank you.
Councillor McCormick. You are the last speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I just want to bring to everyone's attention that the use of the word lie is unacceptable in this chamber, and I see it as a clear breach of the Code of Conduct, Clause 4, General Principles of Councillor Conduct, as highlighted by Councillor Cubitt. You have to treat people with respect, and custom and practice in this chamber before now, or even in a committee meeting, was if you accused another councillor of lying, you were ejected from the chamber. Be that as it may, what positive case have the Tories got after 17 years when they resort to personal attacks in a vain bid to retain power? Bitter, twisted, pathetic.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
No. You've done more than we have in terms of attacking people. This is a general accusation on your administration. The dying embers of your administration.
Point of order,
and
Mr.
we're
Mayor.
acting in...
Hang on a minute, Councillor McCormick. Councillor... Yes. Go.
Yeah, because Councillor Cubitt brought it up first, I believe the correct protocol is to address the Mayor and not to address the councillors in the chamber. I learnt that this evening, so hopefully that message can be reflected to the other side. Thank you.
Carry on, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, we are here tonight to act in the best interests of our residents. Our residents have spoken. The benches opposite have 3 fewer members, thanks to us gaining 1, the Lib Dems gaining 2. Conservative group has 23 councillors out of 54. It cannot command a majority in this chamber. It can't pass water, let alone a budget. After 17 years, the residents want change. That's the message I got on the doorstep, and I spoke to over 1,500 people on the doorstep. And despite the fact that I had 5 Lib Dem councillors in my ward trying to get me out, we've put aside our differences now, and we're ready to work together for the benefit of this borough. Chalk streams. I'm sure that's a subject close to the hearts, Mr. Mayor, of quite a few people on this side of the chamber as well. We see today water companies in the national press. What has this administration, or indeed the Tory government, done to protect the communities and the countryside? Nothing. And that's just one of many instances of failure. The town centre's been mentioned, the football club, the ice rink. You've done nothing. Your time is up. Thank you.
Councillor James, do you wish to speak now? Or hold your peace?
Mr. Mayor, only rise to say that I think this council benefits from 54 fantastic community champions. And I do hope, whatever the result of this, we use the wisdom of those 54 to create a better borough together and don't have a nasty split with some of the council sulking in the corner. Thank you.
Councillor Harvey, do you like to sum up?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've listened closely to debate this evening. I'm sure we all have, and we have a clear choice in front of us. I thank the Chamber for the debate, despite its content. Let us make the vote, let us decide, and let us move forward. As Councillor Gavin James quite rightly says, as 54 members, we represent our residents all to the very best of our ability. We now have a choice to make for our future.
Right, I'm moving to the vote. The voting or the machines will be open soon. Sorry, Councillor.
I just wanted to make sure it's going to be recorded, though.
Yeah. Motion is carried. Thank you, everybody. The motion has been carried. I'm now proposing a 10-minute adjournment. Please be seated. Councillor Harvey, are you happy to accept the motion of Leader of the Council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am.
Thank you. And do you propose to announce your Cabinet now?
I do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Basingstoke and Deane has been a one-party state for the last 17 years. Today, that changes. People have voted for better. They have given us their trust, and we will strive to repay it. This is a new chapter in our town and borough, a new chapter that brings with it a new administration, an administration I am proud to lead with my colleagues, jointly, together, for the whole of our borough. There is no doubt, Mr. Mayor, that people of Basingstoke and Deane rejected the old regime. Some in that old regime, and in this chamber, and on social media, have made some quite disgusting personal attacks. That proves a point, really, that this borough does deserve better. And if all you have to justify your 17 years in power is the kind of attacks on both social media and in this chamber, then I'm sorry, that speaks volumes. That's the kind of politics we want to change. And I call you out for the bullies that you are. This has got to stop. People do not want this, and it damages us all. That's why I support the Local Government Association's Debate, Not Hate campaign. We must be better, and today I ask you all to sign up to this campaign and to practice it in the way we work together, all 54 of us. We will offer leadership, focus and action on the priorities the people of our borough have so clearly said matter most to them. We accept the opportunity to serve, and we will honour that trust. It is a great responsibility which we understand and respect. We are determined to restore people's faith in local democracy, in what their council does to better our borough, enrich people's lives, offer hope and leadership in a difficult time. As the page now turns and we look to the future, I thank Councillor Minnisbound for his service to the borough. Our administration will listen. We will say it as it is. We will lead. We recognise the challenges we will face, but we are united in our desire to deliver for the people of our borough. There is so much to be done, and our intention is to get down to the work of making Basingstoke and Deane a better place for everyone, to run a council that is inclusive, open and welcoming, to seek a can-do approach to the people's issues, to hold in trust the people's finances and to put them to good use delivering the priorities. From the leisure park to the town centre, from council housing to climate change and the ecological emergency, to the local plan on the cost of living crisis, we have a shared agenda, one that unites us. We embrace the challenges because we respect the responsibility to deliver. There is far more that unites us than divides us, and the quality of our action and words in this place and for our residents is to put that unity at the forefront of our work. Let us not be distracted by division and silly politics. Let's rise above that and really deliver the change that people actually voted for. Our Cabinet is full of talent and ambition, and we will work to unlock the potential of our borough. I am pleased to announce my colleague, Councillor Gavin James, as co-leader and finance and property portfolio holder. He is also Deputy Leader Designate. I am pleased to announce Councillor Kerry Morrow will be leading the Sports, Leisure and Culture portfolio. Councillor Chris Tomlin will lead the Climate and Ecological Emergency portfolio. Councillor John McKay will lead the Communities, Partnerships and Inclusion portfolio. Councillor Laura James will lead the Resident Services and Housing portfolio. Councillor Andy Kuznechko will lead the Strategic Planning and Infrastructure portfolio. And Councillor Onnalee Cubitt will lead the Major Projects and Regeneration portfolio. We have shaped our Cabinet portfolios to match the challenge, but make no mistake, unlike the old regime, we will be an administration of more than just the executive. We will make more announcements shortly. But I thank the old Cabinet for their service as they now leave their roles. We hold true to the values and principles we share. Our focus will be Basingstoke and Dean. Our mission is to make the borough better in every way we can. Our policies are clear. Our approach is to engage and be inclusive. We stand united in our desire for change. We have the drive. We are eager to make a difference. And Mr. Mayor, this is just the beginning of a new chapter in our borough, and we are determined to make it a success. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Report of the Head of Law and Governance. Sorry? Am I moving it? Which I wish to move.
Seconded, Mr. Mayor.
Right, thank you very much. Anybody wish to speak on this? No, good. Agreed? Yes, right. Appointments of committees. Councillor Harvey? Groups and committees.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand you have names. Democratic Services have that information. Am I correct?
Councillor Tustain?
Do you want the names of the committee ones that I'm proposing?
Can you confirm them, please? Confirm that the list is correct.
I confirm the list is correct.
Councillor Manispound.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm quite happy to confirm if we just have some clarity over it's my list labelled shadow rather than administration.
Councillor James, can you confirm?
Yes, I apologise. I wasn't as efficient as Councillor Minus-Bounds, and I've just handed my homework in now, but it is there, and I do agree. Can confirm it's right.
Can we look at the Standards Committee on page 9, which isn't numbered? I think we are asking for approval for those that are on there. The independents and the parish councillors. Are you all happy with that? I'm proposing it. Councillor Putty?
I'm seconding it.
Agreed? Thank you very much. Right, I seek nominations for Scrutiny Committee Chairman.
I have to get my own right sheet now in front of me, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. So our candidate for scrutiny chair is Councillor Paul Miller.
Could I have a seconder, please? Don't all rush. Any other nominations? All agreed? Chairman of Economic Planning and Housing Committee. Paul,
Thank you. Councillor Chloe Ashfield.
Thank you very much. Any other nominations? All those in favour? Chairman of Community, Environment and Partnership Committee.
Propose Councillor Joe Slimming.
Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Any other nominations? All those in favour? Many Down Overview Committee.
I propose Councillor Angie Freeman.
Is your seconder? Bound.
Thank you, Councillor Mayor. I'm happy with 50-50, to be honest. As far as the name is concerned, I'd like to propose Councillor Diane Taylor for the Melly Down chair.
Seconder. Councillor Freeman has it. Development Control.
I propose Councillor Andy McCormick.
I'd like to propose Councillor Nick Robinson, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Robinson, please show. Councillor McCormick has it. Licensing Committee. Chairman of.
I propose Councillor Tony Jones.
Can I have a seconder, please? Oh, spoilt for choice. Yes, Councillor.
I'd like to propose Councillor Diane Taylor, please, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. All those in favour of Councillor Jones, please show. Thank you very much. All those in favour of Councillor Taylor, please show. Councillor McCormick has it. Sorry, Councillor Jones. I got you on my mind. Didn't even vote for him. Human Resources Committee.
Propose Councillor Andrea Bowes.
Thank you. Seconded. Thank you. Councillor.
I would like to propose Councillor Laura Edwards, please, Mr Mayor.
Seconded. Thank you. All those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. Opposed? Yes. All those in favour of Councillor Laura Edwards. Edwards. It's a long night.
It's not that long. It's not that late.
Thank you. Audit and Accounts Committee.
Councillor Paul Basham.
Seconded. Thank you.
Councillor Graham Faulkner, Mr Mayor, thank you.
You've done it again, Councillor. Can you switch it off? Thank you. Yes, seconded. Thank you. All those in favour of... Thank you. I will get to know these names. And all those in favour of Councillor Faulkner. What's that? Councillor Basham, you've won. Your chair. Standards Committee. Oh, that's a late. Yeah. Right, Standards Committee is Verity McCain. Do you all agree? Thank you very much. What about this one? So do we? Chair. Chair of Investigating and Disciplinary Committee.
Can I nominate myself, Mr Mayor? If so, I do.
You need a seconder. Councillor Mill has seconded it. Thank you very much. I'm after 4 nominations for Joint Many-Down Committee.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. On the Joint Many-Down Committee, I would propose Councillor Alex Lee, Councillor Angie Freeman, Councillor Onnalee Cubitt, and I'm happy to propose also Councillor Abigail Compton-Burnett as the 3 ward councillors for Winkleberry and the Cabinet member responsible.
Any other nominations before I sneeze? Are you all agreed? Crime and Disorder Joint Scrutiny Committee. To appoint 3 members on the Joint Scrutiny Committee comprising of Hart, Rushmore and Basingstoke and Dean. Councillor Harvey.
Thank you. I understand Councillor Michael Howard-Sorrell for the Independents and, if I'm correct, to stand corrected, Councillor Tony Jones for the Labour.
Can you give me that name again, please?
Councillor Michael Howard-Sorrell for Independents, Councillor Tony Jones for Labour, and I understand we require one Conservative representative as well.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Edwards, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Any other nominations? Agreed? Hampshire Police and Crime Panel to confirm Councillor Minnis-Bound and votes to the panel. Agreed. Thank you. Patrol, parking and traffic regular. To appoint one person. The person that has been put forward is Councillor Edwards. Is that proposed by you? Seconded? Don't all rush. Thank you, Councillor. Right,
I'd like to propose Abdel Ibrahim.
seconded. Please show.
Which one?
All those in favour of Councillor Edwards, please show. Thank you. And all those in favour of Councillor
Ibrahim.
Please show. I'm going deaf. Thank you. Right, outside bodies always sounds a bit spooky to me. Aldworth Educational Trust. Nominations. You can nominate yourself. AWE Local Liaison Office.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to continue in my post, and I would also like to nominate Councillor Mike Bound, who also represents the area. Thank you.
I take it he's willing to stand. Seconded. Any other nominations? Okay, agreed. Can I just check with Aldworth, Councillor Kotechi, are you prepared to continue? You are. Thank you very much. Here we go. Barlow's Park Management Committee, we have one vacancy. That will remain vacant then. Basingstoke Air Cadets 443. Councillor Bound. Bound.
Thank you very much. I'd like to nominate Councillor Paul Miller.
Thank you. Anybody, any other? Do you accept Councillor Miller?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
All in favour? There's only one vacant. Yeah. Basingstoke and Dean Community Leisure Trust. Yes, Councillor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Abigail Compton Burnett.
Thank you. Any other Agreed? Basingstoke Citizens Advice. Yes, councillor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Laura Edwards.
Thank you very much. Councillor.
Thank you, Councillor Michael Howard-Sorrell.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Any other nominations? Do you all agree? Basingstoke Music and Art Festival Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Andrew Freeman, and if he's still willing to, Councillor Andrew McCauley.
Are you prepared to continue, Councillor McCormick? Any other nominations? Agreed? Yes, councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Hannah Golding.
Any other nominations? Agreed? Clear School Community Management.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Graham Faulkner.
Thank you very much, Councillor Carr. Agreed? Yes, councillor.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate myself.
Seconded? Oh, a flurry of hands. Any other nominations? Agreed? Everett Community Academy Management Group. Yes, councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Ganesh and Councillor Minna. Thank you.
Is there any other nominations? Agreed? I think it was seconded by Councillor Ganesh. Yeah. Hampshire and the Isle of Wight Government Association. Sorry, I've had that. No longer is needed. So I had mine crossed out. Right, so I apologise to Four Lanes if they didn't want it crossed out, but they have. Hampshire and the Isle of Wight Local Government Association. Yes,
I'd like to nominate myself and Councillor Harvey. Councillor Harvey as the leader and myself as the deputy. I question why it's in here. Bear in mind to be candidate, you have to be leader and deputy leader. So I don't really, there's not going to be much of an election once we've had the first election. So I don't know if they can be sort of just, it might shorten the process for next year, much as this is fun, but if you could shorten it, it'd be great.
I do hope so for next year. Agreed? Right. Hampshire Building Preservation Trust. Yes, councillor.
Thank you very much. I'd like to nominate Councillor Robinson, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded. Thank you. Any other nominations? Agreed? Herbert Plantation Local Nature Reserve Management.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Isaac, please.
Seconded. Thank you. All those in favour? Or is it agreed? Agreed. Right. Carla the Arts. Oh, I missed one. Integra North Energy from Waste Plant Liaison Panel. Councillor Harvey?
Councillor Tomlin.
Thank you. Seconder? All those in favour? Agreed? Right. Carla Arts. Councillor?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor J. Ganesh.
Anybody else proposing? Agreed? Laverstock and Free Folk Millennium Green Trust. Yes, councillor.
Councillor Phillimore.
Seconded. Thank you. Any other councillors? Do you agree? Local Government Association, that says the leader, so again, we don't need to vote on that. Agreed? Right. Loddon School Enterprise Limited. It's vacant at the moment. Nobody wants it? That'll stay vacant then. North Wessex Downs Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. Yes, councillor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Paul Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Seconded by councillor Putty. Yes, councillor.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Phillimore.
Seconded. Thank you. All those all those for councillor Paul Miller, please show. Thank you very much. Councillor Phillimore, please show. I think Councillor Phillimore has it. Right, North Hampshire Area Road Safety Council.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Nick Robinson, please.
And I'd like to nominate Councillor Angie Freeman, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to nominate our new councillor, Andrew Johnson, who is on part of Chadley and Pamber Ward, and Councillor Kerry Morrow, who would like to stand on that committee. Thank you.
Any other nominations? Is that agreed? Proteus Theatre. Thank you very much. Silchester Roman Town Advisory Panel.
Mr. Mayor, I would again like to nominate...
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yes, councillor.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I clearly didn't put my hand up quickly enough. I'd like to nominate Councillor Aaron Maloney, please.
For what?
Sorry, for Proteus, the previous one.
Right. Is that agreed? Now can we get Councillor Slimming?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the Silchester Advisory Panel, could I nominate Councillor Andrew Johnston? She does have a degree in archaeology, so she is very well suited.
Any other nominations? Agreed? South East England Councils. Yes, Councillor Harvey.
Can I nominate myself?
Why not? Do you have a seconder? Thank you very much. Any other nominations? All those in favour, please show. No, sorry. Do you agree? Thank you. It's a long night. Right. Citizen Advice Tadley. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Rattigan.
Thank you. Councillor Slimming.
I would just like to second that. I was going to propose him. He's already on the committee and obviously is a ward member.
It's lovely that it's cross benches, if you like. But yes, do you agree? Thank you very much. Tadley District Community Association. Councillor Slimming.
Yes, Mr Mayor. Could I nominate myself? Councillor Morrow now would have done it, but obviously as a portfolio holder, he is a little bit stymied, I think. Thank you.
Seconded. Seconded. Thank you. Agreed. Tourism South East, I'm not on it. Yes, Councillor.
I would like to nominate my ward colleague, Councillor Jay Ganesh, who has an outstanding degree in sustainable international tourism, Mr Mayor. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wish to stand? Okay, thank you. Councillor Putty has seconded it, and I'm amazed that he's got a degree in it. Well done. Agreed? Agreed? Thank you. Trustees of Basingstoke Charities, 4 vacancies. Oh, I'm stunned by the silence. That would have to be carried over. Trustees of Basingstoke Common. Councillor Harvey.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Conscious that yourself as the Mayor, but also Councillor Cubitt and Councillor Tuck.
Thank you very much. Any other nominations? Agreed? Whitchurch? No. Vivid Housing Association. 1 main and 1 reserve. So let's go for the main first.
Councillor Testain.
Sorry, can you say that, Councillor?
Councillor Testain for the main.
Okay. And seconded? Yes, Councillor.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Jenny Vox.
Seconded? Thank you.
But if I could just say, I'm very happy to be the deputy, if that makes it simpler. Because there's usually a primary and a deputy for Vivid. Thank you.
Which role? Right, let's do the main one first. Councillor Harvey.
Mr Mayor, shall we do the main first and say Councillor Testain is nominated for the main, and if there is another nominee, so be that, and then move on to the deputy? That may be an appropriate way of proceeding, sir.
Seconder, please. Right.
In that case, Mr Mayor, I'm happy to withdraw my nomination for Jenny Vox for the main and put her forward just for the deputy in a moment.
Thank you. Agreed? Now for the deputy.
Councillor Lee.
Councillor Lee. Seconded. Thank you.
So now, Councillor Vox, thank you very much.
Seconded.
Like a second, Councillor.
Thank you. Those for Councillor Lee, please show. Thank you. Councillor Vox, please show. Councillor Lee, I think, has it. Right, Whitchurch Millennium Green Trust. 3 years.
Councillor Ashfield. Councillor Ashfield, Mr Mayor.
Seconded. Any other nominations? Agreed? Whitchurch Silk Mill. Yes, Councillor Harvey.
Councillor Ashfield, Mr Mayor.
Seconded. Thank you. Any other nominations? Agreed. Young People's Information. Proposed, sorry, Councillor Harvey.
Councillor Howard Sorrell.
Seconded. Lovely.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Hannah Golding.
Seconded. All those in favour of Councillor Harold Sowell, please show. Thank you very much. And those in favour of Councillor Golding, please show. Councillor Howard Sowell, get. Help if I switched it on. Item 12, no questions received. Item 13, no petitions received. I've done the next two. Questions from members of the council on notice. Councillor Dillo.
I would actually like to withdraw the question, because I'm pleased to say that following my intervention, I've been informed by the former member for Partnerships, Cabinet Member for Partnerships, that Hatch Warren runners and a number of councillors in this chamber will now be able to access the Downgrange track facility at 6 a.m. on Tuesday mornings. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Can you put your mic? Thank you. Item 17, any questions on the en bloc of the committees? Thank you, councillors, and have a good safe journey home, and I apologise for any mistakes.